you looking to make a cake, but you're stranded out in the middle of the wilderness? Ooh, we're gonna help you out, because guess what we're talking about? A double-decker red velvet cake in a Dutch oven cooking. I mean, it is oh so good and so easy. We're gonna walk you through the tips and the tricks. So come on, I'll chop the wood and y'all can eat. Hey, thank y'all for stopping by camp on a beautiful, cloudy day. Oh my gosh, we're so glad that the Lord has blessed us with some cooler weather, because what we're talking about, baking a red velvet double-decker cake in a Dutch oven. Yep, you heard me right. Oh, you could do it in the house, but hey, we're gonna show you how to do it in a Dutch oven, step by step, making it simple. And say, this red velvet cake is so special to me. In fact, it is in our cookbook, A Taste of Cowboy, the first one. Dear friend of our family, old Wanda Beth, she taught me how to make this cake so many years ago. Birthday parties, anniversaries, Christmas, Easter, you got it all. Let's get started on some cake, because I do love me some. Now, red velvet cake got a special icing in it. I'm talking that homemade old Crisco style icing that all them old women broke out so many years ago when I was little. And folks, this is what we put on cake at ranches, and guess what? Red velvet cake was the most requested cake I ever had from Cowboys anytime that I was ever cooking on a ranch. But we need to put this icing together first so it can chill. You seen me over, take some milk and flour, pour it in here in a saucepan, and just stir it. Saucepan, you say that looks like a dishpan, Kent Rollins? Well, today it is a saucepan. Do not scald that milk. Be real careful, and I want you to just keep stirring that flour and that milk till it thickens really good. And you can see the consistency that we got here. That's what we're after, because this is going to make that icing so fluffy, so creamy. So what we're going to do, we're going to add some sweetness to it. A cup of sugar. What we're talking about? I'm talking about some butter. And what else? Some Crisco. As we would call it in my part of the world, lard. So I really say that you would put this in a mixing bowl and you would have one of them mixers, but since Kent Rollins ain't got no mixer today, he's going to use a fork to get some of that incorporated. And then we're going to take that whisk and we're going to put it on high. So you can see the butter is softened, and that makes a big difference, folks. I think they would call cream that together. So that's what we're going to do till we can get it all incorporated. And then we're going to put the whisk on high for about 4 minutes. Arthritis will sit in.
4 minutes?
Yes, ma'am. Ready? This is low. Okay. This is medium. This is high.
4 minutes, huh?
Hey, Duggar, could I hook this to your bottom of your tail and you could put it on high for me? See there, you got a high. That's high for 4 minutes. I was in the Olympics one time in a cake stirring competition, and I come in first. Now, if you like a lot of icing, and I'm talking that sweetness about that thick on a cake, double this recipe. But the reason we put this together first is so it could chill, so it would set up a little better. So let me get it in the ice chest. Well, the icing be chilling, like, I be chilling, whoa, I be chilling. So what we're gonna do? Red food coloring. Now you don't be careful. You don't be careful with this stuff, folks, because I've had it end up a lot of places when the wind was blowing and people think come into camp, he got shot, see, he's bleeding. That'd be red stuff all over the place. But one of the other tip I'm gonna give you with red food coloring is when you're washing dishes, wash this separate from itself, because your dishwater on a ranch will turn red. It is not good. Sweetened cocoa, 2 tablespoons of this red food coloring, because what is this? This is a red velvet cake. Look at that beautiful red rich color there. Oh my gosh. Take your little fork and we're just going to make this into a paste. Cackle berries. I do love them, I do. 2 of them. What do we also call them, Shan?
Hen fruit, rooster bullet.
They are good things, they are. So we're going to put this in this mixing bowl. So we're going to add some sugar and another dab of Crisco. If you had a mixer, again, you could just do that, but I like to go ahead, since I ain't got the mixer with me on the power tool today, get the Crisco and the sugar sort of beat up there a little to where when you get the apparatus to stir it with, it ain't all over you. So time to break out this tool again. Mage, do you know anything about this? No. Let's put that in there and make sure you get it all. You don't want to leave nobody out left behind. Look what a difference it made, Shan. Oh my gosh. So we got that mixed together to where we got all of it blended well. Next is some buttermilk. And I want you to go ahead and mix that up just a tad, I do. And then we're gonna slowly, ever slowly, sift this flour in there. 2.5 cups worth. And try to stir at the same time. This is what you call, ain't gonna happen. So we're gonna change hands. But if you go to mixing this in there too fast, folks, I'm gonna tell you right now, it'll go to clumping on you. And if you ain't got one of them handheld mixers that's got electricity on the end of it, you'll have a lumpy cake. And nobody likes lumpy cake. Whew. Next come a little bit of salt. People tell me to do this all the time, so I'm gonna do it. And then we done mixed what? Vinegar and baking soda and some vanilla. Now when you mix the vinegar and the baking soda together, you're gonna get that foam, you're gonna get that fizz. It's what? It is a chemical reaction. Yes, it is. And it's gonna help this cake even jump up some more. And the vanilla's in there. Stir it right before you put it in there. Scatter it out there. Stir it up. And guess what we have? We have batter for a red velvet cake. We do homemade. Most requested by every cowboy I ever cooked for. Now, if you're cooking this in the house, let me tell you now, 350 degrees, preheat that oven. But wait, we ain't cooking it in the house. We cooking it outside in Mother Nature's kitchen. So what are we using? 2 10-inch Dutch ovens. So you do not preheat a Dutch oven to cook a cake in it. No, we just want them to, like, hey, they room temperature, ready to go. Now, I normally would advise you, if you're doing this, to say, hey, we're gonna cook this in a 12-inch deep oven because you got more room at the top for them coals and you ain't as apt to burn this. But I want thicker cakes. Yes, I am, because we're stacking this up. It is a party. But guess what? It will test your talents on how you cook the top of that. So you stick around. Maybe we won't burn it, but I want you to help me. So we got to grease them. We do. Take you some of this here butter spray, whatever you got. Get it really well. If you're doing this in the house, you'd use an 8 or a 9-inch cake pan. But no, we just got that in there. Guess what? Whew. Folks, I'm gonna tell you right now, this don't need to be in the bloopers. This need to be a public address announcement right now. Shan says, how many times do you say guess what? Well, guess, Shan, I don't know. Get it where the wind ain't blowing it on you, and try to get it in all the spots.
I can move.
And you see how that flour rolls around there on top of that butter spray? That is what we call a well-greased cake pan.
What's next, Kent?
I don't know. I was gonna say guess what, but I don't really know. Besides, you can't cook it in this, folks. We're going to try to divide this evenly into 2 pans. Make sure you have one of these devices, and I just want you to just sort of just fold it over in there. Now let's go over here a minute so we can put a little over here and everybody can roll around there a little. I'll get this divided somehow. See you at the fire and we'll make them. So when you're baking a cake like this, you want to bake it as slow as you can, really, to get the maximum amount of rise out of that cake and not burn it. That is the big question right here. So you see me put a light circle of coals around the bottom on both of them, really light on top. Every time somebody cooks in a Dutch oven for the first time, the biggest mistake they make is way too many coals underneath. We're going to blast it to the moon. No, you cannot do that because you're going to burn it. You can add coals to it as you cook it if it needs some more, but you can't take them away after you done burnt the cake. So let's not burn the cake, okay? Now stick with me because I got some more tips, more tricks to cook this cake. Don't leave me now. Well, the next big tip I got for you is rotation. Rotation is a key factor to regulate heat as you're cooking something in a Dutch oven. Ooh, it makes all the difference in the world. And even more so, if what? If the wind is blowing, because you got a microwave going on. So rotate the bottom one way, lid the other way, evens out any hot spots that you might have on your Dutch oven. But hey, this is cooking along a little fast. We might have been on maybe 10 minutes already. And I want Shan to look in here and see how much progress we got going on. So looky there, what is happening? Oh my gosh, and it's red. Folks, I don't want you to be a frequent rotator. Them not good. You rotate so much, taking the lid off, looking at it and everything, you ain't cooking nothing. No, it ain't gonna happen. When the wind is just about like this, we got a gentle breeze about 10 miles an hour. Normal rotation practices would be at least twice, maybe 3 times as you're cooking in a 20 to 30 minute program here. But if the wind is blowing, hey, about every 5 minutes I'd rotate because you are getting so much heat generated from the breeze. Ooh-wee, ain't that a pretty sight? Folks, I have had people fight for this, but even more important, I think that one thing that woke me up in the middle of the night that I call the Red Velvet Massacre, down there on the ranch all by myself, and I'd cook one of these, I'd turn a bean pot over it, keep it for the next day, up on top of the chuck box. The story's in the cookbook. I mean, 2 o'clock in the morning, I hear all kind of things happening. I go over with a flashlight in my house shoes and my cowboy hat, and what is it? 1 possum and 2 raccoons fighting over the cake. The possum got whooped pretty bad, but he's up here on top of the chuck box. The 2 raccoons are running off, and I look with the flashlight, and he got red velvet icing all over him. So you read the story, you'll get a kick out of it, but the icing's melting a little today because it's a little warm, but folks, this is oh so easy, and you can impress so many people when you can do this in a Dutch oven at a campground, or you got people over in the backyard. But I think before we start though, Shin, I maybe should feed my loyal subjects a little icing. Who got a sweet tooth? Big says, it is me. Yep. Maid, you got a sweet tooth? Yep. Duke says he got one for sure. Look at that town go to work. And it's Sadie Lou. She ain't for sure, but everybody's had enough sugar. They'll be bouncing off the walls now for sure. There come a time in a man's life when he has to say, I deserve this, and I do. So I'm gonna have me a bite. So many memories come flooding through my mind. On a Sunday afternoon after church, Mama or Wanda Beth would make that cake and it'd be sitting out there. It just don't get no better than that. The flavors that are there are outstanding. The icing, homemade, red velvet cake, not out of a box. That make you do what? The red velvet rumble. The rumble. Yeah. Mate, can you do it? No. Mate says he ain't got it. Well, I hope you enjoyed, because me and the pup sure did. Hey, everything that we use will be listed down there in a little description down below. And folks, if you be needing more help on cooking cakes and cake cooking tips, hey, we got a whole playlist on desserts. You can find it all right there. But guess what? There's even something there about old Bertha too. The new revised model, the Cadillac of all Cadillacs. It is the Bertha Elite model, it is. And hey, we just wanted you to know, if you can't find all this stuff, be sure and go over and check out our website, www.kentrollins.com, and you'll find all the things you need to know. As always, I tip my hat to all our servicemen and women and all the veterans who have kept that flag flying over camp for me and Shan. We salute you. We are proud of you. God bless you. Rest of you, come on in here. Y'all know what's going to happen. We're going to get a big old hug. It is good because y'all are family, and I'm going to see you down the what? The homemade red velvet cake in a Dutch oven trail.
And no guess what? Just try really hard.
Don't guess what?
Howdy doody tutti frutti, how's that? You don't like a guess what?
Ooh, that's wrong. Fast little cake cooking. Say that real quick. I'm gonna back up, start over, Em. I can't even get them words out of my mouth.